Hello and welcome. I don't know if you've seen the headline about the doctored footage of Donald Trump giving a speech. The doctored footage done, it would seem, allegedly by the BBC to, well, we can only hazard a guess what they were up to. Let me read you this headline from the BBC. Conservative leader Kemi Badenoch has said heads should roll at the BBC following reports that a Panorama documentary misled viewers by editing a speech by US President Donald Trump. It was apparently the Telegraph that broke this story. They've seen an internal memo. Let me play you a clip from GB News, but they're actually showing a clip from the Telegraph. It's probably the quickest way to explain this if you haven't caught up with this disturbing news item yet.
Played the following clip.
We're going to walk down to the Capitol, and I'll be there with you, and we fight. We fight like hell.
But Trump didn't, in fact, say this at all. The BBC spliced together two clips that took place 54 minutes apart. So let's go through it again.
We're going to walk down to the Capitol, and I'll be there with you.
Now, see there, between Capitol and, that's a cut. Here's what Trump actually said.
We're going to walk down to the Capitol, and we're going to cheer on our brave senators and congressmen and women.
It's different. It wasn't until nearly an hour later that he then said the second part of the BBC's version.
We're going to walk down to the Capitol, and we fight. We fight like hell.
I mean, what? The BBC, this is the national broadcaster of the UK. We pay them, we fund them. Although a lot more people won't be funding them, I suspect. Now, here's the thing. If you don't like Donald Trump, you may be saying, well, he deserves it. And, good riddance, he's always making stuff up anyway. I don't think that's the point here. Because if you don't like him, or of course if you like him, I think all of us collectively need to take a big step back and just consider this. Consider this critically. Consider this from a calm perspective, if at all possible. We need the truth. They're as close to the truth as we can possibly get. This sort of tinkering and tampering with a source of information, in this case video, is so dangerous. How do we know that someone might not have seen that Panorama? Again, they have done some good documentaries in the past. What is happening at the BBC? You've got to ask yourself. We can hazard some guesses, of course. But tampering with video in a so-called documentary that people, because of the reputation of the BBC, which is still there for some, will drink in. It just reinforces, it's like creating an echo chamber for some people. So they say, oh, listen, my goodness, I didn't realise he had said it quite so bluntly as that. No wonder we hate him. No wonder he deserves to get chucked out of office and worse. So what was that thing that we keep on hearing about that some people get locked up for, or at least a knock on the door from the police? What is that? Is it not a hate crime or a non-crime hate incident? From the BBC, from Panorama, this to me is at least in that territory. I don't know about you, but I just think that we not only need to practice critical thinking, and as I've said for a long time now, check the sources and double check them and look at things with a slightly cynical eye and be aware of not plunging into something because of our own biases. In other words, keep the emotional temperature as low as possible because it's so easy to go for confirmation bias. Not only now do we have to be aware of that, we also have to question a huge institution, the BBC, that's been there for decades and has in the past had a good reputation. I think it needs an overhaul. And of course, you've probably noticed that the programming more and more and more has obviously been delivered with an agenda driving it. The BBC is, of course, also struggling at the moment, and I wonder if that's because they're essentially serving up a lot of stuff that a lot of people don't want to listen to, don't want to see, don't want to hear. It's kind of garbage because they've forgotten the art of storytelling. They've forgotten the art of drama. When we get the message shoved down our throats, so to speak, it turns people off. Anyway, what do you think about the BBC, and what do you think about this this latest, I'd call it a scandal?